All right, so today is 2022 GMC Denali Ultimate with the 3-liter diesel driving impressions day. We're going to take this thing out and about, and we're going to see what it's all about. And we're also going to use the really cool Super Cruise feature that's going to give us the hands-free driving capability. So, got my wife in the car with me. She's going to be filming while I drive, and we'll both be able to kind of provide feedback on what we feel about this absolutely beautiful truck. All right, so both me and my absolutely beautiful wife are in this truck. If you wonder where I get all my adjectives for trucks, I get them from adjectives I call my wife. So when I say absolutely gorgeous, the only one, I'm going to get myself in trouble by saying this, the only one I don't get from her is when I say, wow, that is massive or humongous. I definitely, that'll get me in trouble, so I don't say any of that stuff.
Don't call me that.
Anyways, we are inside this gorgeous 2022 GMC Denali Ultimate pickup truck. A feature that we discovered that I hoped it had, and I kind of thought it did during the original walk around and walk inside, was the fact that this does have massaging seats. So you can press the button on the side of the seat, and then you'll see how it changes to the different modes. And it's got a ton of different modes on here. You can change your back bolstering, you have your lumbar support, you can change your upper shoulder, and then you have the massage features, and you can go through all the different types of massages from wave, relief, glide, roll. And it's very similar to what Ford has as well as what Jeep has with that Jeep Grand Cherokee Series 3 that I reviewed, where it goes through all sorts of different types of pressures in different areas of the seat to help massage you. It's really cool. Certainly gives you a little bit more comfort if you're on a longer drive.
Yeah. On the massage feature, it's more intense, which is better than the Ford, in my opinion.
Yeah, so on my truck, it's kind of subtle, but I don't know if that's changed. You know, my truck's a 2017, so who knows in 2022 if the new F-150 or the new Super Duties with that feature have gotten better, or if they've been able to kind of change how it focuses. I haven't been in one of those trucks yet, so I couldn't personally tell you. Yeah. But it's cool to have. I mean, we use the feature, which is really nice.
Yeah, I definitely like the massage feature on the Denali versus my truck, which is my Ford Expedition.
Yeah.
This one's a lot better. You can actually feel it massaging, and I like that. That's awesome.
Yep. And some other things I want to go over here real quick that I mentioned is how you can control and change some of your display layouts, your settings, things like that. A lot of information up here. And again, this is one large screen, so everything up here can really be changed to the different options that they have. And if I go to display layout, select it, I can go to these different types of display options, such as progressive, which kind of changes the overall look, and go to digital, and then I can also go to clean, which pretty much takes most of the stuff away. But yeah, it's very cool that you have this option. I just keep it in classic, and then I have my digital speedometer here in the center, and then all your menu items, your RPMs, as well as your speed. But very cool. Anyways, we are about to hit the road and see what this thing's all about. So far, just from the limited driving I've been able to do in the truck, you know, it's got a really nice ride, but we're going to go over some different types of road conditions here to really experience what it's like in rough conditions. So we got to drive around town a little bit to find some of those roads, and I know where some are, but again, I want to try to hit all the different types of road conditions you might normally experience in a truck like this. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is get this thing out of park. Again, you press the button on the side, pull it down towards you, and it changes it to drive mode. And actually, I want to go in reverse. So it's all the way up for reverse. You can see the really nice high-resolution camera here. And when you're driving slow, you really can't hear much of the diesel from the diesel engine. It doesn't have that sound, but when you pick up speed a little bit, you certainly can hear it a little bit more. All right, so we are on a stretch of road that is actually insanely bumpy. This is a road that we travel occasionally, and when we go up and down it, it always kind of rattles you to death, regardless of any vehicle you're in. I think the smoothest vehicle we've ever taken on this road is oddly enough a Ram half-ton pickup truck, a limited truck, and it's relatively smooth, but it can still get real bumpy. So my wife's going to do her best to hold the camera steady. If it bounces around a little bit, we apologize, but she's going to try to hold it steady while we go down this road. And I'm going to try to go at it at about 35 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on this road. So here we go. There's a turtle in the road. All right, here's where it starts getting a little nasty.
It's not a rough ride though. It's just, I mean, you can feel that the road is bumpy, but it's not a rough ride.
If you hear any rattling, that's not the truck. We have a child seat in the back, and it's bouncing around a little bit, or at least the straps are. Is that another turtle?
Oops. Ah.
2 turtles.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not bad. It is bouncy. It's a little bit, I'm not gonna say jarring, but it feels like a pickup truck. And you know, when my wife was asking me how I feel about this truck, I told her that in terms of wanting it to feel a little bit like a truck, you get that with this. Whereas the Ram, I think, feels a little bit too plush, a little bit too soft, and you almost feel as if you almost feel as if you lose some capability because of that. This still feels like a truck. And the Ram that we drove also had 4-way air suspension on it, whereas this truck doesn't have any air suspension. It's all leaf sprung in the back and coil sprung up front. But now we're on a smoother section of road, and it certainly feels smooth. You can probably hear the diesel a little bit more. That diesel engine, a little 3-liter diesel, produces well over 400 pound-feet of torque, so you get a lot of power out of it. But yeah, it's a smooth driving truck. I mean, you know, when you're not on super bumpy roads, it drives like a luxury truck. You feel like you're in a luxury vehicle. But I would still say it leans more towards a truck SUV feel than it does like a sedan. And there are some SUVs and trucks that feel like sedans. So what do you think?
Yeah. No, it is. It has a smooth ride, but you can definitely tell it's a, I guess it's a tighter.
Yeah, firmer is the way I like to describe it.
Yeah, but it definitely is beautiful, and it's smooth.
Beautiful truck.
Yeah, beautiful. I love the two-tone colors.
Now, from a seat comfort perspective, let's leave the massaging aspect out of it. How do you feel about the seats?
They're comfortable, actually. They're pretty comfortable.
Yeah, we were in a Ram truck that had the cloth seats, and you know, I don't know if it was a cloth versus leather type thing, but you had made some comments that you weren't a real big fan of the seats in that truck. Is this like a big improvement? I guess the better way of comparing it, how do these compare to the seats in your Expedition?
A little bit more firm than a little firmer than my truck, but I like them though. It's actually a plus. The Armada that I did not like. It was so slippery.
Yeah, the seats, like I said, they were very plain, and they didn't have all the leather was smooth leather. It didn't have any texture to it. Whereas these seats have texture. They kind of have a center that's a little bit more texturized.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been able to go over 2 different types of driving conditions here. One relatively rough, one very smooth, and now we're going to go ahead and hit the expressway. And we're not only going to see how it feels on the expressway, but we're also going to test and evaluate the Super Cruise feature, which is the hands-free driving feature on this truck. All right, so we are now hopping on the expressway. And the Super Cruise feature is basically a button here on the steering wheel, and then you have a light here on top. You know, when I was driving it over in Detroit, it gave me a bunch of different colors to indicate things up here, but since I've been using it here, basically once you get on the road, you just press this little picture of a steering wheel on the road, and I'm gonna get up to 65, press the button, the light comes on the top of the steering wheel here where it's green, and then it says Super Cruise engaged. And now I can take my foot off of the gas, hands-free, and I'm going to keep my hands kind of on my lap so they're close, but you can see we're coming up to a pickup truck in front. There's no cars beside us. Auto lanes change here on the dash. Turn signal's on. It executes the lane change completely on its own, not touching anything, and I am now overtaking this truck. And then watch what happens. Well, I'm gonna guess it'll probably switch me back to the right lane once I get in front of this truck. And I don't have to do anything. It'll actually vibrate the seat under me before it initiates the lane change to let me know it's about to do it. It'll turn the turn signal on and everything for me. And then it's using all the different features, from the cameras to the lasers to everything in the front and the back of the vehicle, to help identify when certain things are safe to do. Now, what I realized is, for the most part, it likes to kind of keep you in the center lane. So if there's 3 lanes, it will typically want to hold you in the center lane. But then randomly at times I've noticed that it will actually execute a lane change, and I'm not exactly sure why. I wonder if that's kind of written into the software, or if they've essentially just engineered it to do that. But right now, yeah, it's holding me in the center lane. Again, completely hands-free. We're going around a corner here, so you can certainly tell that the truck is doing its own thing. And again, because the green light is on top of the steering wheel, it's indicating that it's currently in the Super Cruise mode. And we're going 66 miles an hour right now. Again, I haven't touched anything. Now, what I believe it does is keep you in the same road. So I haven't seen where, you have an exit coming up or something and it tries to get you onto that exit. It seems to hold you pretty much in the same road that you're on. And it doesn't navigate you to a place. So if you are using your navigation feature and you're trying to get from point A to point C, it's not going to take the exit ramps and turn down different roads or any of that stuff. It's pretty much just going to hold you on the road. It's a cruise control feature that's going to keep you at the same speed unless you come up to a vehicle, and it can actually go to a complete stop as well, which is really nice. So again, same lane, haven't changed. If we come up to a vehicle, it will, again, vibrate the seat underneath me, say that it's about to make a lane change. It'll turn the turn signal on. It goes through the lane change, and the turn signal stays on until it completes the lane change. Very cool. Now, sweetie, do you feel comfortable with this?
I do, in a way, but it still scares me. Of course, you just never know what could happen. I'm just afraid it might slam on the brakes if it comes up to a car.
Yeah, there could be a malfunction or just something that it gets confused with and it doesn't know how to respond. Like, we're now headed out towards North Padre Island, and there's a big bridge over there that you may not be able to see. Now it's going to do a lane change, auto lane change. No cars coming up on me. And it's because of this car up here. I have the distance set to maximum right now, so you can set the distance right here with this button, and I can make it so we follow the vehicle closer. But for the sake of all of our nerves, I want to make it so we have as much space as possible. Something that is interesting to me, and I'd like to see what would happen, is if it wants to do a lane change, but there's a vehicle that's coming really quickly down that lane. Now it's slowing down on its own. You can probably see the speedometer where it's dropped down in speed, 60 miles per hour, because this vehicle in front of me switched into my lane. 63 miles an hour. Okay, here's a kind of a sharper turn than we've been on so far. Again, I'm just keeping my hands really close to the steering wheel. For some reason, I need to intervene. And I think that's what they want you to do. I don't think they want you to take a nap. The real goal is that you keep your hands close to the steering wheel. You just give, I guess, your arms and hands a break, which I don't know if I would ever need to do that, because even on long drives, I don't think my arms and hands are what get tired. It's not really that, but it's interesting for sure. Because of the uncertainty, like my wife said, of the system and something potentially happening, I don't think at this point it reduces the stress of driving. Because even though you can take your hands off, don't be text messaging, don't be doing any of that stuff while you're driving. It does add that extra barrier, especially if you're starting to get a little tired. But even then, you should probably only use it until you get to a safe stop or a rest stop or a gas station. But because you're thinking about the system, and if it's really going to work, it kind of increases your anxiety a little bit until you really trust it. But then at that point, are you too complacent, right? Are you too reliant on it? And you're like, you could find yourself in a strange situation. But we're just going to keep going on this road for a little while, and we're going to see how well it does.
This is going to get a little bit scary now. We're fixing to go up on the bridge, so...
Yeah. So this is the causeway. Yeah, this is what separates Corpus Christi essentially from Padre Island, and Padre Island again is an island. So we're going over the bridge.
Yes, it's pretty.
I'm gonna go in the back seat and start reviewing something back there. No, I'm kidding.
It's changing lanes.
Changing lanes, auto lane change. If it didn't say that, I would be a little worried, but no, it notified me. Now the vehicle in front of us is going much, much slower. So now it's slowing down because I think the speed limit actually drops here. So it's changing lanes again to pass them. I'm gonna drop the speed limit down a little bit.
Yeah, we're fixing to get to a slower speed limit.
Yep, so let's drop down to 50. Then I'm gonna turn it back on. It says it's unavailable at the moment because I've taken control of the vehicle. Okay, so real quickly, I'm gonna grab the camera just so I can show you the heads-up display in the center right here. I'll zoom in on it. Very, very clear, very, very easy to read. You see your speed limit, the traveling distance for the Super Cruise feature, and the actual posted speed limit. Let me hand the camera back to my wife. Speed limit just shifted to 70 miles an hour now. It just changed directly on the screen in front of me, or the heads-up display. So I can pick up some speed here. 65, I think, is as fast as I need to go. Okay, Super Cruise is on. Basically, the minute the speed limit changed, it allowed me to do Super Cruise. So, not exactly sure how that's set up in the national system of roads that are, you know, capable of utilizing this system, but it worked. All right, coming down a bridge now. Still going 65. Coming up on a turn. You know, I also would be interested, and I'm not going to test it right now, but I would be interested to see if this compensates for speed whenever you're going into a turn. Like if it felt that that wasn't a safe turn to make going 65 miles an hour, will it drop down in speed to be able to make that turn? The speed limit was actually 70, and it was 70 going onto the bridge, but then it just changed to 65 on this area right now. So that's certainly interesting. So it even knows we're in a construction zone right now. So it says Super Cruise caution, construction zone, drive with care. And I'm guessing it might want to do a lane change at some point because it's holding me in the left lane right now, but this over here is technically the left lane. We're really in the center lane. That might be why it hasn't moved me into the right lane yet. All right, so hopefully after this vehicle, it'll do it. Now, here's something you can do. So once this vehicle goes by, well, there's another truck right behind it, I can actually press the turn signal and it will do an auto lane change for me, which I'm going to try to do. I'll actually try to do it while this truck's next to me. Auto lane change, looking for opening. It slowed us down, dropped us to 58. It did the lane change. And Super Cruise has been disengaged because it can't find the lane. So that's because of the construction that's going on right now. So I think it just re-engaged itself. It did. So I had to take over briefly, and then it re-engaged itself the minute it found a lane. And I think, again, because there's no defined lane markers right now, it's a bunch of reflectors in certain areas because they're doing construction.
So now, did you feel the vibration?
Yes, it shook under my seat to let me know, and then it even said Super Cruise disengaged, and this up here started blinking at me, I believe.
Is it strong enough for you to really feel it, or do you think, okay, well, that might be the road vibration?
If you're paying attention to driving, it is. But like if I were just carrying on a conversation with you and I'm looking over at you and I'm not paying attention, it you would wonder kind of what's happening, because remember, the vibration is kind of the same vibration that you feel when you're about to execute a lane change. So you may just think you're coming up on traffic and it's about to do a standard lane change, because if you're driving in heavy traffic, it may be doing lane changes all the time. But if there's a construction zone where there's no defined lane except for temporary markers that they've put, well, then that could be a scenario where you may not know and you have to pay attention to it. It's really important that you still focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, I'm gonna do a lane change here real quick. I'm just gonna turn the turn signal on. It's doing auto lane changing. And this is a very well-defined road, so yep, completed the change, no problem at all. It will not exit the highway with that though. That's one thing I realized, that you can't just do that and exit the roadway. All right, guys, well, I promised my wife I would take her out to lunch and treat her to a wonderful lunch, because she is absolutely an amazing woman, and she held the camera with one arm this entire time, so huge kudos to that. And she's gonna be putting more videos out. She just hasn't really had a chance to. We've had a lot going on.
I'm going to try to do a review on this one. Of course, besides the feedback I've given on this driving impression with JD. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can try to do a review on the outside and just a little bit more detail and post it on my channel.
Yeah, guys. Anyways, I sure hope you've enjoyed this. Really cool system. Drives really nice. It's a great truck. A lot of technology. And it's just really the type of truck that if you're looking for the ultimate luxury vehicle with the ultimate technology and some features like hands-free driving, you should certainly take a closer look at. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again very soon.